Greetings and welcome to today's session. Yes, this is your host, KAKURU BENARD. Those who haven't watched more of the latest video lessons, please go on YouTube. You search for KAKURU BENARD, you press enter, make sure the spelling is correct. That's the correct spelling of KAKURU BENARD. You will find that icon of ICT. You click on it to open. Once you have opened, you can go under videos. Be among those subscribers who are always looking up for the latest version of the content. So here are the latest videos that will enable you succeed in ICT. These videos will also add a value in your teaching and learning. So here, when you look at this link provides the latest link to the videos. So here, when you look at these books, they are here. You can order them, you can understand more about what they have and all that. So today, I'm back with another set of KABS ICT Resources Center paper. This paper will be for June, July, or we can still use it for July, August. And we are going to see some of the changes in this setting of the paper and how best we are supposed to approach this set. Are we ready? Let's get started. So here is our KABS ICT paper, June, July 2025, from KABS ICT Resources Center, ICT Paper 1 for new lower secondary curriculum. So instructions, the candidate is supposed to do 3 items, that is 1 item comparison in section A, 1 item in section B, part 1, and 1 item in section B, part 2. So here is section A, the compulsory item. We can go through it. Item 1, Kato runs a small agricultural produce store in his town. He keeps records of supplier deliveries, customer orders, and daily sales using notebooks and calculators. Recently, he has faced challenges such as misplaced records, delayed calculations, and difficult tracking stock levels that are beginning to affect his business performance. A friend suggested that digital systems could help him organize his work better. Kato is open to the idea, but is unsure which ICT tools would suit his store. He's also concerned about how to keep business information safe and how to ensure that any digital tools he adopts remain reliable and secure over time. Task: prepare a write-up explaining how Kato can overcome the challenges in his business and improve his operations through more efficient methods. So members, when you look at this item, it is for item 1 and it is from the first element of construct, which says you appreciate and manage a computer system. This item 1 normally calls for ICT tools and how to safeguard them. But as we progress from today, when you are watching the video onwards, the tasks that I'm going to be presenting, they are not going to call for ICT tools, but they will be calling for a write-up. They will be calling for a report on what someone should include as they are writing, meaning that as they are writing, that's when you bring in the ICT tools. But the tasks themselves are not going to say, identify the ICT tools that this one needs. No, we are going to say, prepare a write-up or write a report on what someone can include in the report. And that report should include the ICT tools and how to maintain them. It can be in one table or in one paragraph. This is how the tasks are going to be set and the scenarios onwards. So let's now look at how best can we score this item. We need to see the codes and their descriptors, how we shall be scoring this item, its expected responses. So here is a table of the codes and descriptors, how we are going to handle item 1. I already said that item 1 comes from the first element of construct, appreciates and manages the computer system. So when you look at this item, we are going to describe the ICT tools. So here, meaning that a learner is going to identify and describe 5 or more than those relevant and sufficient ICT tools and how to maintain them in one paragraph or a table. So we must see at least a learner has identified 5 of the ICT tools or more, has described 5 or more of the ICT tools, and has given 5 maintenance measures. The ICT tool identified must be described and the maintenance measure there and then. Not first identifying the tools alone, then you describe them separately, and then you bring the maintenance measures separately. No. Bring a tool, identify it, and give the maintenance measure at a go. Then a learner will get 5 scores if he has identified and described 4 that are sufficient. Those tools, we must see 5 I's, 5 D's, and we must see 3 I's, 3 D's and 3 M's for maintenance measures. Then, if the learner has only given 1 to 2 I's, 1 to 2 D's, without maintenance measures, we'll get 1 score. Or the learner has just identified the tools or has just identified and described some tools that are not specifically relevant to the scenario, we'll get 1 score again. Then more to that, we need to continue scoring the maintenance measure, at least minimum 5. Then we shall also have the format of the presentation. The format of the presentation includes an introduction, it includes a conclusion, and A for the arrangement or the coherent arrangement of the work. So let's get started and look at the expected responses for item 1. Remember, an ICT tool to qualify, it must have an element of data handling. It must have an element of data processing. That is when an ICT tool is going to qualify. And that ICT tool must be well described in the scenario to show us that this is how the ICT tool is important as regarding solving the challenge presented in the scenario. So let's get started. So you must have your work well labeled. We need to see that the work is well labeled. You have numbered your work well. Section A, item 1. We begin with introduction. Cattle's produce store is facing challenges such as misplaced records, delayed sales calculations, and poor stocking due to his reliance on manual methods. To solve these problems and improve efficiency, Cattle can adopt ICT tools that directly handle business data. These tools will help him organize, speed up transactions, manage inventory, and secure important information. So when you look at this introduction, we are now bringing the element of the ICT tools, that we are going to bring ICT tools, that these ICT tools can directly handle business data. And then from there, they can help in organizing records, speed up transactions. And then we are also going to talk about how best can we secure the information of the business. This is by maintaining the ICT tools as well. So here, this is the INT. The INT is for introduction. So we put the code there. So the INT is given at least 1 score. Now, let's look at the tool, how it will help Kato in running the business or solving the challenges, and then the maintenance and safety measures of the ICT tools identified. Remember, ICT tools, they are hardware, they are software, or they can even be network-based. Now, the first ICT tool we are bringing is computer or laptop. So here we have identified our tool. After identifying, let's now describe it. How is it going to help in this business? How is it going to help in this scenario? This one, it runs the key business software such as Microsoft Excel, the point of sales system, database, and other accounting tools. So this is a description. A laptop can also help in storing customer orders, stock levels, and financial records. A laptop is going to replace paper records, improving organization and accuracy. So any of these is a description, and we put a D. How are we going to maintain this ICT tool? We can maintain it by install and update an antivirus. We can back up files regularly on cloud or external drives. We can use strong passwords. We can use surge protectors in case there is a power sudden. Then we can also keep the software and drivers up to date. So all these are maintenance measures. We expect a learner at least present one of the safety and maintenance measures. So Kato will need a printer, or you can call it MFP, a multifunction printer. So here we have identified a tool. After identifying a tool, let's describe it. This MFP printer prints receipts, invoices, and contracts. This printer can scan and make photocopies of supplier documents. This printer, it connects physical and digital records. So this is a description. So any of those, we put a D. Let's see how to maintain our printer. We can clean regularly. We can refill with recommended toner or ink. We can always keep the scanned documents, we secure them. Then we can avoid overloading the trays where we place paper. We can also cover when not in use to protect it from dust. So this is a maintenance measure. So any of these can work as a maintenance measure. Then another tool, we can talk of spreadsheet software. This can be Excel or Google Sheets. So here we have identified a tool. Let's now describe it. What will it help Kato? This tool is going to help in recording sales. It will help in making deliveries and also managing stock. It can help in making automatic totals and profit calculations. It can also help in generating reports that will help to aid, that will help in decision making. So any of these is a description. So we put a D. And then how do we maintain our spreadsheet software? We can back up files on Google Drive or using a USB. We can protect financial sheets with passwords. We can also label the tabs and cells clearly. Like if this sheet 1, we can call it end of July reports. Another sheet, we give it a name like that, those tabs. So this is also another maintenance measure or a safety tip to secure records. Next, we need a point of sales system. Here we identify the tool. Let's now describe the tool. A point of sales system, it speeds up transaction and reduces human errors. It is also important in in calculating totals and also giving out receipts. It can also automatically track sales and stock if it is well linked in this business. So this is a description. And now let's see how best we can maintain our point of sales system. We can update the POS software regularly. We can back up sales data daily. We can set staff login roles. We can maintain the receipt printer. We can also use search protectors for the entire system. So any of these is what we call a maintenance measure or a safety tip to ensure that our point of sales system remains in a safe condition and also the customer data is safe. Next, we'll need another ICT tool as a smartphone. How is this smartphone relevant in this scenario? This one is for contacting customers and suppliers. We can use calls, SMSs, or WhatsApp. We can also use this smartphone to access mobile point of sale system. We can also use a smartphone to access Google Sheets and inventory apps. We can also use a smartphone to support mobile money transactions. So all this is a description for the ICT tool called smartphone. How do we maintain our smartphone? We can use screen lock or fingerprint. We can install mobile antivirus. We can avoid using public Wi-Fi for sensitive tasks, especially when you are doing transactions. We can always update apps, maybe in App Store or Google Play Store. So all this is a maintenance measure or a safety tip while using a smartphone. Another ICT tool, we can look at a database software such as Microsoft Access. So we identify a tool, let's describe it. A database is used to store customer records, payment history, and delivery logs. So we have to have an access that has all this. Database software will enable Kato in quick search and generating of reports. A database management software will also is also scalable for more complex data than spreadsheet. So whatever spreadsheet doesn't handle, we can use it access to handle it. So here is a description of the database management software. Let's now look at the maintenance measure. We can always keep the software updated and virus free. That is a maintenance measure. We can avoid unnecessary structure edits. We can also back up database files regularly. So any of those can be considered as a maintenance measure. Another ICT tool, we can look at a word processor, e.g. Microsoft Word, Google Docs. Any of these is an ICT tool, and now let's describe it in line with the scenario. A word processor helps in preparing invoices, contracts, and formal communication in Kato's business. A word processor will also help in printing supplier letters and payment notices. It also enhances professionalism when dealing with banks and officials. So here is the need for a word processor in Kato's business. So any of these is a description of the ICT tool, and then how best can we maintain our word processor ICT tool. We can organize documents in folders. We can use passwords on contracts. We can use templates to standardize our work. We can also back up on cloud or use a USB drive or an external hard disk. So all this is a maintenance measure. More to that, we need an external hard disk or an SSD, or call it a USB. So here, it will help in backing up key business files. So we have identified a tool and we are now describing. It will also provide offline storage of financial, sales, and stock data. An external hard disk or SSD, solid state drive, it also helps to archive old records and scanned invoices. It is portable and it can be shared across devices. So any of this is a description for the need of the external hard disk. How can we maintain it? One, avoid physical shocks and drops. Don't drop it down. Always eject safely before unplugging. Store it in a cool and dry place. You can encrypt or password protect sensitive files. You can also perform backups weekly or monthly. That's how you can maintain your external HDD or SDD. Lastly, we can look at a router or a MiFi device as another ICT tool. This one, it provides internet. So we identify a tool and now describe. It provides internet access for emails, cloud backups, and app access. It also enables connection of multiple devices, for example, the PC or a laptop, a phone, and a point of sale system. It will also facilitate digital communication with suppliers and customers, maybe via WhatsApp because you will need internet. Then supports cloud syncing of sales and inventory data, meaning that the data that is offline, it can be synced up to cloud. So all this is a description of why we need a router or a MiFi device in our store, in our retail business. What can we do to maintain this router or our MiFi device for internet connection? We are going to change default admin and Wi-Fi passwords. We can use a security that is for putting the password. We can also update the firmware regularly. We can turn off when not in use. We can press centrally. Somewhere we look for a point where we shall press it and have a strong signal. So all this is a maintenance or a safety tip while using our device. So this means that we are done with identifying our ICT tools. Then from there, we shall look at how many eyes have we identified. So we look at the eyes, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. So from here, we shall come to the eyes that we have given. We said at least minimum, minimum 5 for you to get the highest score. So eyes, we can say 5. And then the D's. Remember here, for the eyes to be considered, we base on the D's. The description here is very key. So the eyes must match with the D's. So the D's for the description, 5. And then here, that's when you will qualify for your 5 scores. Now, the management measures also at least must be, here you qualify for 6. Yes, and then the management measures must be 5 as well. So explanation of the management measure, 5. Then here you qualify for the 5 scores. So DS stands for description of the ICT tool, and it involves identifying and describing. Then EM stands for explanation of the management measure, and it has M as the code. So there were 5. Then let's look at the format of the presentation. The format of the presentation, first of all, has introduction, INT, and then we consider a conclusion as well. So conclusion, by using the right ICT tools, such as a computer, a spreadsheet software, a point-of-sale system, and a multifunction printer, Kato can transform his store into a more organized, accurate, and reliable business. With proper maintenance and data protection practices, these tools will help him manage operations efficiently and grow his business with confidence. So, this kind of conclusion is gotten from the ideas that you have raised and also how the scenario was. You have addressed the challenges, and here is the conclusion, CLN, and this one takes also one weight. So, meaning that the format of the presentation now, the format of the presentation has introduction, it has conclusion, and how the work is arranged, the coherence, that is A. So, FP, format of the presentation for item 1 is 3. So, total, we have 3 weights. Now we get 6 plus 5, that is 11, plus 3, 14 weights for item 1. Let's now go to item 2. Item 2 is from section B, part 1. Section B, part 1 has 2 items, 2 and 3. A learner is supposed to do 1. But for our session, we are going to answer all the items because I'm showing how you should clearly respond to these items. Let's look at the item 2. A company deals in used computers and supplies them to a number of institutions. One of the institutions that buys computer from the company has complained of frequent breakdown of the computers received. Those that cannot be repaired are either locked away in a store or dumped in open spaces around the institution. Some learners continue to tamper with these machines out of curiosity, raising concerns about information security. Meanwhile, the institution has a high workload and most users spend long hours on the computers. As a result, several of them have reported discomfort and possible health concerns. The administration is now seeking guidance on how to handle these ICT-related challenges more responsibly. Task: advise the institution. Task A: advise the institution on how to manage the unusable computer equipment and identify the stakeholders involved. Part B: sensitize users on the possible causes of the ill health or discomfort and suggest possible solutions. So, this scenario, pause and read through it again. Pause and read through this scenario again so that you understand it very well. Key players in the scenario and what the tasks require exactly. But briefly, we are seeing that there is frequent breakdown of the computers received. More to that, we are seeing that these that can't be repaired, they are locked or dumped around the institution. Learners continue to tamper, meaning that there is an issue of data leaking, data breaches. And then also, high work overload, meaning that there is health and safety issue here. And then we want to help them how they can manage the unusable equipment and the stakeholders involved in managing the e-waste. Then possible causes of ill health and suggest the solutions. So let's look at the scoring grid, table of weighted scores and descriptors for item 2. Remember, item 2 is from the second element of construct, appreciates ICT safety and proper management of e-waste. ICT safety, we have so far seen that there is discomfort because of working for long hours. Then there is also learners tampering with these machines out of curiosity, meaning that the data is not safe and all that. So it is from this element of construct that we appreciate the ICT safety and how we shall properly manage the e-waste. So what should we do here? We have the codes. PM2. PM2 stands for providing the management measure. And providing the management measure is here. Manage the unusable equipment and the stakeholders involved. So the PM2 means providing the management measure for element of construct 2. Here, if the learner identifies more than sufficient number of measures, number of stakeholders and their roles, at least 4 measures, that is the strategy of how to manage the e-waste, 4 stakeholders and 4 roles, plus the 4 consequences. Remember this, the improper management of e-waste has consequences. Improper management of e-waste has consequences. So we need to see the 4 measures, the 4 stakeholders, the 4 roles, and the consequences identified, well explained. The learner will qualify to take 6 scores. If the learner has identified at least 3, each of these is 3, qualifies for 5 scores. Then if the learner has just given 1 to 2, we'll get 4. If the learner has only identified the measures or stakeholders, we'll only get 1 score. Then part B was looking at sensitize users on the on the possible causes of ill health or discomfort, and then suggest the solution. So EC2 stands for explanation of the causes, or explanation of the consequences for element of construct, for element construct 2. Here we are looking at if the learner has described 4 or more than sufficient causes of ill health and discomfort and provides the mitigation measures, qualifies for 6. Then if the learner has only identified the causes of ill health or has only given the mitigation measures, takes 1 score. So if you have only identified or you have given the consequences or any incomplete set, you get 1 score. Then finally, the format of the presentation for element of construct 2. The format of the presentation, we shall look at how have you presented the work. Is it logically flowing? Do you have introductions? Do you have conclusion? And the arrangement of the work. 4 scores. So this is the score grid that we shall use. Let's now go to the expected responses for section B, part 1, item 2. Introduction. Improper use, maintenance, and disposal of ICT equipment can expose institutions to data breaches, environmental hazards, and health problems. It is crucial for schools and organizations to adopt responsible digital waste practices, and promote a healthy digital environment for users. The following guidance outlines secure e-waste management methods, roles of stakeholders, and health-focused sensitization strategies. So this means that our introduction is covering part A of item 2 and part B of item 2. So this is our intro and it takes 1 score. Let's now handle part A that requires us to advise the institution on how to manage the unusable computer equipment and identify the stakeholders involved. So, before we look at how to manage the unusable computer equipment, we need to look at the consequences of this unusable equipment. Because when you look at our providing the management measure, for one to get 6 scores must also bring out the consequences. The consequences of e-waste, the consequences of the unused ICT equipment. One of the consequences is physical health. Students may suffer electric shocks, burns, or cuts from exposed wires or cracked metal or plastic on the junk computers. What should we do? We need to keep damaged devices in a locked or marked storage room. We can also use signs like "do not touch," dangerous equipment, something like that. We can also assign lab attendants or ICT teachers to supervise unused ICT equipment. So this is one of the risk and the management measure. So it is from here that we have identified the consequence and the cause immediately. So this is a consequence and this is what we call a mitigation measure or the management measure. Another consequence of e-waste, we are looking at toxic chemical exposure. Broken equipment may leak mercury, cadmium, or lead, which can be absorbed through touch or air. This poses long-term risks to learners, organs, brain development, and the lungs. So this kind of consequence, how can we mitigate it? We can store hazardous waste separately with warning labels. We can also engage NEMA licensed recyclers to remove e-waste regularly. We can also sensitize learners through science and health clubs on toxin risks. So these are mitigation measures. Then another consequence is environmental pollution and crop damage. When computers are dumped in open areas, toxins leak into soil and water, harming crops and aquatic life. More to that, burning e-waste emits toxic gases, causing air pollution and respiratory diseases. So this kind of consequence here, how can we mitigate it? We can ban open air dumping and burning of ICT waste. We can also conduct awareness on how improper disposal affects farming and water safety, a campaign. We can also partner with local authorities like KCCA, NEMA, and environmental clubs for cleanup initiatives. So all these are the mitigation measures. Another consequence, there is data breach risk. Hard drives from old computers may still contain sensitive student records, exam data, or school financial files. Learners or outsiders may retrieve and misuse this data. So this data breach is a consequence. And how can we mitigate this? We can use certified wiping tools like DBAN, Eraser, or Blanco tools to remove data from hard drives before disposal. We can also physically destroy all the drives before disposal, meaning that you can use a hammer to destroy it, or you can drill holes in those hard drives. We can also encrypt all institutional data and enforce data clearance before disposal. How can we also avoid data breach? We can also do data masking for training labs. How do we do this? We replace real data with fake data for educational use. So any of these can avoid the consequence of data breach. Lastly, a consequence from curiosity due to lack of awareness. Learners may tamper with broken machines to explore unaware of the physical or legal dangers. So this kind of consequence, how can we mitigate it? We can organize awareness weeks or safe ICT use and e-waste hazards as a campaign. We can also integrate ICT safety into the curriculum or through ICT clubs and ICT lessons. We can also display posters or infographics near ICT labs and stores about you tampering with any ICT gadget you find there dumped or stored in a certain place. So these are mitigation measures towards the consequences of the ICT junk. Now, we are now going to look at clearly the management of unusable computer equipment and the stakeholders involved. We have e-waste management method. We are going to explain it very well, and we see the stakeholders and their roles under management of e-waste or those unused ICT equipment. One method we can look at reuse or repair. This is a strategy. That is a management strategy. Let's explain it. Reuse or repair. In here, you can fix damaged but repairable ICT tools like keyboard or CPUs. We can also, this one, it keeps devices functional and longer, reducing the need for new purchases. This one is useful for extending life in school labs and saving the budget. That's why you need to reuse or repair. It also promotes local technician skills. So when you reuse or repair, you are promoting technical skills. And who are involved in reuse and repair? Schools. The schools themselves are going to identify 40 but reusable devices. So here, having identified the reuse and repair as a management strategy, we are now looking at the stakeholders and their roles. So a school is a stakeholder, SH. The schools are responsible in identifying 40 but reusable devices. So this is a role. Another stakeholder can be ICT clubs or technician. Their role is to perform minor repairs. Another stakeholder can be importers or manufacturers. Their roles is to supply spare parts. We can also involve the Ministry of ICT as a stakeholder, and its role is to promote repair culture in the institutions. Another management strategy is refurbishing. Under refurbishing here, you are replacing outdated components, e.g. hard drives, RAM, to restore full function. If you had a RAM of 250 GB, I mean a hard disk of 250 GB, a hard disk, you can think of putting an SSD of 512 GB. If you had RAM of 4 GB, upgrade to 8 GB so that the device can work properly. Then reduces electronic waste by upgrading instead of discarding. So if I have 2 GB RAM and the computer has another chip, another socket where I can add another chip of maybe 4 GB, that means that I don't have to remove that one and discard it away, but I replace by upgrading. So here, this is a management strategy. And then, who are the stakeholders involved? We have refurbishers or refurbishing companies, and their role is to provide parts and upgrade services. Schools, as stakeholders, they can approve refurbishing plans. More to that, when you look at refurbishing, this one, we have transporters. Their role is to move items to refurbishing centers. Ministry of ICT or NITA Uganda. These ones here, they are supposed to provide guidelines on quality standards as their role. Then we have recycling as a management strategy. Under recycling, we extract useful materials like gold, copper, plastic from e-waste. Under recycling, we are trying to have an environmentally friendly computing that avoids landfill pollution. We are also looking at an ideal for components beyond repair. So this is what recycling involves in as a management strategy. Who are the stakeholders and their roles? NEMA, its role is to certify recyclers and enforce standards. We have licensed recyclers. Their role is to process materials, e.g. Simbatech. Schools, for them, they can sort and forward recyclable items. Local authorities like KCCA, these ones, they support community recycling programs as their role. Another management strategy for this e-waste, we can have safe disposal via land refills. What does this involve? It involves dumping of non-hazardous, non-recyclable ICT waste in designated areas. It also involves they used for plastic casings and broken cables. This one must be done in approved sites to avoid environmental damage. Who are the stakeholders? NEMA, it authorizes and inspects landfill sites. We have licensed waste collectors. Their role is to transport items safely. Schools, the institutions, their role here is to log and classify what goes to the land refill. Something like an inventory is a role. Let's look at incineration as a strategy. Incineration, it involves burning toxic or contaminated ICT waste, e.g. PVC cables, in controlled facilities. Burning, it prevents waste from spreading diseases or leaking toxins, but it requires high safety and emission controls. So this incineration is a management measure. And who are involved? Ministry of Ministry of Health or NEMA. These stakeholders, their role is to supervise the incineration facilities. We also have special waste farms. Their role is to burn waste under regulation. Schools as stakeholders, their role is to refer such waste to approved partners. Another management measure, we have acid bath. Here we use chemicals, e.g. nitric acid, to extract metals from chips, boards, etc. This one is extremely hazardous. It is only certified recyclers who are allowed to do acid bath. So as a management strategy here, who are the stakeholders? We need licensed recyclers, and their role here is to perform acid bath under strict supervision. NEMA and the Ministry of Health as stakeholders, their role is to enforce environmental and chemical handling laws. So, when you look at acid bath, you find that this one, it recovers gold, silver, and copper from old gadgets. Then schools as stakeholders, what are they supposed to do under acid bath? Schools not allowed to conduct this on the premises, meaning that there must be places where this is done. Okay. Then another management strategy is e-waste sorting and storage. Under here, what are you supposed to do? You categorize ICT waste into reusable, repairable, recyclable, toxic, etc. So as a management strategy here, you need to store items in secure, ventilated areas to prevent tampering or harm. This one helps track of what can be reused or what can be disposed. Who are the stakeholders? We need ICT technicians. Their role is to classify devices based on condition. Schools as stakeholders, their role is to maintain e-waste inventory records. Local authorities like KCCA, their role is to oversee school storage standards. Let's look at another strategy, refuse. Here, you are going to reject poorly maintained or old or substandard ICT donations or purchases. You have to refuse as a management strategy for e-waste. So under refuse, what does it involve? This one, it prevents accumulation of future unusable devices. It encourages due diligence when sourcing ICT equipment. That's why you need to refuse. So, who are the stakeholders? Schools. Their role is to scrutinize new donations and purchases. The procurement committee as stakeholders, their role is to set quality thresholds, meaning that we need quality standards, UNBS and all that. UCC stroke Ministry of ICT as a stakeholder, its purpose here is to enforce import standards. Sale of scrap for cash as a management strategy. What does it involve? We sell metal, plastic, and outdated parts to licensed junk dealers. So as a management strategy here, this one, it clears storage space and it earns some income for repairers or ICT budget. It also enables schools to responsibly move unusable stock. And who are the stakeholders here? School admin or the bursar. These ones, their role is to approve and track sales. How about scrap dealers as stakeholders? Their role is to purchase and repurpose parts. KCCA or local authorities as stakeholders. Their role is to license dealers and verify those records. More management measures. Safe disposal through licensed vendors. What does this involve? Here, we are supposed to outsource e-waste disposal to registered firms under NEMA. As a management strategy, what is this going to help us? It ensures that dangerous waste, e.g. mercury, lithium, is disposed of safely. This one, it often includes documentation and tracking. Who are the stakeholders and their roles? One, schools. Schools here, they have to contract certified disposal services. NEMA. NEMA as a stakeholder, its role is to publish list of licensed vendors. How about auditors and local government? These ones, they are to ensure transparency in this e-waste management. We have a management strategy of secure data wiping and destruction. This one, as a management strategy, it prevents data leaks by wiping drives, encrypting, or destroying them. So, as a management strategy here, it ensures that we have protected students' records, exams, or any emails. This one, it includes disguising or even physical crashing. You get hammers and drill. I mean, you get those drillers and drill holes. You also get hammers and destroy physically. This is what is involved under secure data wiping and destruction. Who are involved? One, ICT staff. ICT staff, these ones, they can use wiping software or destroy the hardware as their role. How about NITA Uganda or UCC? These ones, they provide protocols for safe data destruction. How about school admin? The school admin as a stakeholder, it can keep proof of data sanitization before disposal. Donation as a strategy. Donation to technical training institutions. As a strategy here, 40 computers can be used by learners for hardware and repair purposes. Because I don't think we should buy new gadgets for learners to learn repair. They need to learn from those 40 computers, those repair gadgets. I mean those 40 gadgets to learn the skills. So as a management strategy here, this one, it supports vocational education and skill building. It is ideal for motherboards, old CPUs, and incomplete systems when you are donating. That's what you need to consider. Now, as stakeholders and their roles, who are involved? Schools. They identify and donate items. The institutions themselves, they use electronics in training. Transporters, they deliver the donations as the role. Sensitization campaigns as a strategy. What are we going to do? Let's educate learners and staff on dangers of unsafe disposal and e-waste tampering. This is the strategy M. Here, this one, it builds awareness of health and environmental risks. It also encourages ICT safety clubs and peer education. Who are the stakeholders? ICT clubs or some associations, their role is to lead awareness drives, the campaigns. Ministry of ICT / Health provide posters and materials. NGOs and local government as stakeholders, their role is to support mass media campaigns. Let's look at equipment audit and inventory. So here I've provided a number of management strategies, how they help, and then the stakeholders. Equipment audits as a management strategy. This one, it keeps track of the condition of the ICT gadget, its lifespan, and location. Where are these located? If it is a printer, is it located in the secretary's office? And how many printers do we have there? In the computer lab, how many printers do we have there? Inventory. And then this one, it ensures timely disposal decisions. This printer was bought in 2017. It has served for maybe 10 years. So you have to keep track. It prevents unnecessary hoarding or loss. Now, who are the stakeholders? ICT coordinators. Their role is to maintain up-to-date records. Head teacher or the board as stakeholders, they are to use audit reports to approve disposal. This one has served for long years or we have repaired it many times. Let it go away. Auditors and local government, their purpose is to cross-check for accuracy. There is that element of research and policy setting as a management strategy. In here, we study new, safer ways to handle and reduce e-waste. Because this one helps to develop national e-waste laws and ICT product standards. It also supports future sustainability when you research and you have a policy. Who are the stakeholders? Universities and research bodies. They have to conduct the studies. That is their role. UCC and the Ministry of ICT as stakeholders, their role is to draft policy based on evidence. ICT associations, their role is to advocate for updates and share research. So, when you look at this section here, we have provided a management measure, we have provided the stakeholders and their roles. Part B of the item, we are supposed to sensitize users on the possible causes of ill health or discomfort and suggest the possible solutions. So it is from here that we are now sensitizing on the health, the causes, and the mitigations. We get started. One of the health cause or health issue, the health issue here, or the risk, we are looking at the back pain. So the back pain, what causes it? Inappropriate desks and chairs that lack back support. Poor sitting posture, like leaning forward or sitting on benches without backrests. Back pain and spine pain is also caused by prolonged sitting without adjusting posture or taking breaks. So, this is a cause. That is a cause. And then, how can we mitigate this? We can use ergonomic furniture. Those are what we call adjustable chairs and desks. So, adjustable chairs and desks, this is a mitigation measure. We can also train learners on correct posture. You can also schedule stretch breaks every 45 to 60 minutes. So all these are mitigation measures. We have eye strain, computer vision syndrome. This one is caused by extended screen time without sufficient breaks. It is also caused by high screen brightness or glare from unadjusted settings. Eye strain is also caused by poor ambient lighting that causes contrast between the screen and the surrounding. So, this cause, how can we prevent it? The mitigation measure, we can follow the 20-20-20 rule. So the 20-20-20 rule, this one, you have at least to look aside for 20 seconds. Okay? So the 20-20 rule is a mitigation measure. We can also install anti-glare filters and adjust screen brightness. We can also improve classroom or lab lighting condition. So all these are mitigation measures. So another risk is repetitive strain injury. This one is caused by repetitive keyboard or mouse use without rest intervals. It is also caused by hard or flat keyboards that force awkward wrist angles, poor hand and finger positioning during typing. So, all these are causes of repetitive strain injury as a risk. How can we mitigate it? Here, we are looking at use of ergonomic keyboards and rests as a mitigation measure. We can also take short breaks to stretch fingers and hands. We can also introduce typing techniques exercises. Mental fatigue or digital burnout. This is an ill health. It is caused by excessive exposure to screens without mental downtime. It is also caused by long, unstructured ICT sessions without physical variation. It is also caused by repetitive digital tasks without meaningful breaks. So all these are causes of mental fatigue or digital burnout. What can we do to mitigate this? Encourage off-screen breaks and mental resets. We can also alternate ICT with offline or practical activities. We can also set time limits on screen tasks. Another ill health is overheating and lab discomfort. High concentration of active devices in a confined room. It is also caused by lack of air inflow or ventilation. It is also caused by close placement of machines, increasing ambient heat. So, this cause can be mitigated by open windows or use of fans for air inflow. The overheating can also be mitigated by use of, by powering off unused devices and also spacing the computers in the lab. So all these are causes of the heat, and then these are the mitigation measures. More to that, we are looking at blue light and screen flicker as a consequence. This is caused by use of screens with blue light at full brightness. It is also caused by low refresh rate monitors that cause visual flickering. It is also caused by extended nighttime screen exposure. How do we mitigate this? Activate night mode or blue light filters. You can also increase monitor refresh rate and adjust brightness. We can also align monitor with user eye levels, the level of the eye and the monitor to be at the right angle. And clean shared devices cause discomfort. Frequent sharing of keyboards and mice without cleaning, frequent sanitation, infrequent sanitation of high-touch ICT devices, non-hygiene routines before and after computer use. All these are causes of unclean shared devices. What should we do? Disinfect input devices regularly. You can also promote hand washing. You can also allow personal device use when possible. Bring your own device. Then another discomfort is from loud equipment noise. Old or malfunctioning hardware like CPUs and UPSs. Dust-filled fans or internal components can bring noise. Proximity of noise machines to learners' desks. So all these are causes of loud equipment noise. And then, what can we do to mitigate such? Replace or repair noisy hardware. We can clean vents and fans regularly, dust blowing. We can also place noise devices away from users. Lack of digital health awareness. No sensitization programs on ICT-related health risks. Teachers and learners are unaware of safe digital practices. No health notices or reminders in the labs. So lack of digital health awareness is also a cause of ill health and discomfort, because if they were aware, they would work for less hours and all that. What can we do? Let's conduct digital well-being workshops or campaigns, display ICT health tips in labs. Let's also train teachers on model safe ICT use. So we have looked at causes and the mitigation measures. There are very many causes and mitigation measures. Let's, for example, look at electromagnetic radiation exposure. What causes this? Sitting too close to CPUs or routers that emit electromagnetic waves. Also, placement of users directly next to high-power ICT components. This causes discomfort. More to that, devices left all time, even when not in use. They emit these. What can you do? Maintain a safe distance from CPUs, routers. Turn off routers or CPUs when not connected. These are management measures to avoid EM. Avoid placing seats directly behind radiation or heavy hardware. Another ill health is deep vein thrombosis. What causes this? Prolonged sitting without movement during ICT use, limited leg motion under small desks or in crowded spaces. All these causes deep vein thrombosis. And what can we do? Perform leg exercise or stretch every hour. Schedule short walking breaks. Another cause of ill health, or the consequence that we have here, is obesity, someone gaining weight. This is due to lack of physical activity due to continuous ICT engagement, extended seated sessions with no scheduled movements. These are the causes of obesity or weight gain. What should we do? Introduce physical activity breaks. Encourage alternating sitting and standing tasks. Integrate ICT with active learning. We have muscle twitching. So what causes this? Staying in one posture for too long during computer work. Lack of regular position changes reduces blood flow and causes spasms. So these are the causes of muscle twitching. And then what should we do? Include light stretching during time usage of ICT. Change sitting posture or move between stations. So these are the mitigation measures, meaning that you have provided the cause and the mitigation measure, the causes of ill health and discomfort. Then let's give a conclusion. Institutions must treat ICT equipment not just as tools, but as assets requiring care, policy, and responsibility. From secure disposal of obsolete devices to ensuring user health in digital environment, schools and organizations play a central role in promoting digital safety and sustainability. By working with stakeholders like NEMA, UCC, Ministry of ICT and ICT clubs, they can protect data, reduce e-waste, and create safer, more productive work spaces. So this is a conclusion, which will also take 1 score. Now, when we look at our responses, we started with the management measures, the consequences of e-waste, which we looked at here in the beginning, the consequences of e-waste and the management measures. Then we looked at how to manage the e-waste and the stakeholders involved. We looked at the consequences of ear health and discomfort, and then how to mitigate them. So it is from here that the learner has provided the consequences, the management measures, the stakeholders, and their roles. That at least 4 consequences, 4 management measures, 4 stakeholders, 4 roles, that you qualify for 6 scores. If there are no consequences, you take 5 scores. Then we have looked at the consequences of, the causes of ill health and discomfort. We have seen all of them. At least you are supposed to provide the consequences, also should be 6. So here, if you provide 5 or more, 5, you qualify for 6. Then, format of the presentation. Format of the presentation has introduction. Format of the presentation has conclusion. Format of the presentation, we are looking at how you arranged your work. Is it a table? Is it an article? Is it a write-up? And you take your 3 scores. You take 4 in total. That means that we have 2 for arrangement of the work. 1 for introduction, 1 for conclusion. Why are we considering 2 for arrangement of your work? You began with the consequences. You are arranging your work. From there, you went to the mitigation measures, their stakeholders. So your work, the arrangement of your work, that is A. So when you look at the A here, takes 2, and in total 4. So here is 16 for item 2. That means that also item 3 is going to take 16 scores. Item 2 has taken 16, so item 3 is also going to take 16 weights. Okay, let's now go on to item 3. So item 3, we are looking at a secondary school recently experienced a break-in which several computers and network devices were stolen from the ICT lab. Other parts, including keyboards and hard drives, were left broken and scattered on the floor. Behind the lab, 2 old computers that once served as file servers were found covered in dust and no longer functional due to failed power supplies. The thieves had opened the cases and taken the hard drives. The laboratory attendant later dumped the remaining damaged parts outside the lab. As the school begins to replace stolen devices, the administration is concerned about ICT equipment safety, the careless disposal of damaged parts, and the risk of sensitive information falling into the wrong hands. Task Part A. Explain the likely causes of the incident and suggest possible measures to prevent future ICT-related theft and damage. Part B. Advise the school on how to properly manage the damaged equipment and avoid creating harmful e-waste in the environment. So here is our scenario and the task. So you can pause, read through the scenario again, and understand the tasks very well. So let's look at its scoring guide. So now here is the table of weighted scores and descriptors for item 3. To begin with, remember we are still handling element of construct 2, appreciates ICT safety and proper management of e-waste. So in here, we are supposed to look at a candidate describing or explaining the causes, 4 or more causes of ICT safety and the mitigation. What caused the theft? What caused the thieves to break in and did the harm to the ICT gadgets? So a learner or a candidate describing 4 or more causes will take 6 scores. So meaning that they have to bring the causes and the mitigation. Then if the learner identifies causes of ICT theft or the mitigation, 1 to 3 gets 1 score. Then part B, we are supposed to bring out the management measures. EC was for explanation of the causes and the mitigation. Then PM is the providing the mitigation measures. So if the candidate gives a minimum of 4 consequences, a minimum of 4 measures, a minimum of 4 stakeholders and their roles, takes 6 scores. If the candidate only gives the measures, stakeholders and roles without consequences, takes 5. If the learner only identifies 1 to 2 measures, roles and stakeholders, 4. And then if it is 1 to 2 measures, stakeholders and roles, 1. Lastly, format of the presentation. Introductions, content flowing logically, conclusions, and the arrangement of the work. Introduction, conclusion, 2 scores. Arrangement of the work, 2 scores. That is 4. In total, 16. So let's look at the expected responses for item 3. To begin with is the introduction. The recent break-in at the school ICT lab exposed critical risks: theft, careless e-waste disposal, and potential data breaches. If not addressed, such issues can harm the institutional trust, pollute the environment, and compromise sensitive records. Below are the causes, preventive solutions, and strategies for responsible ICT and e-waste management. So let's begin with part A, where we are going to look at the likely causes and preventive measures of ICT theft and damage. So what caused the theft? 1, we can look at weak physical security. What can you say about this? Poor locks or broken doors and windows. There was no secure storage for high-valued ICT items like routers and servers. So meaning that we needed like cabins. So The absence of such, it exposed the weaknesses. So these are the causes. And now we need to prevent the mitigation measure. One, we can install strong padlocks, metal grills, and burglar proofs. We can lock all critical devices in secure cabinets or safes. Add motion activated lights around the lab to deter night entry. We can also assign an overnight watchman. So all these are mitigation measures. Then, lack of surveillance or guards. The lab had no CCTV cameras or alarms to detect the intruders or alert security. There was no any security personnel. All the security personnel was there, but it was insufficient. So these are the causes. And then we need to look at the mitigation measures, how to prevent such. We can install CCTV cameras inside and outside the lab. We can also fit the lab with motion detectors and alarms. We can also deploy round-the-clock security patrols. Then, another cause is neglected equipment maintenance. Old servers left dusty, non-functional, and unattended. Power supplies failed over time with no inspection. So, this cause, how can we mitigate this? We need to implement a maintenance schedule. We need to clean and test all devices monthly. We can refurbish or decommission old servers responsibly. We can also use UPS or surge protectors to prevent damage. Remember, the two servers were damaged due to power instabilities. So we need UPSs. Next, unsecured sensitive data. Stolen hard drives may contain sensitive school data like students' results and passwords and communication records. This can create a serious data breach. So unsecured sensitive data, how can we secure data? So before putting those servers in that kind of space, we can first wipe data by using certified tools like dban, eraser, Blanco, etc. We can as well physically destroy the hard drives by drilling there, or we use shredders if they won't be reused again. We can encrypt data on those active devices by using BitLocker. We can also do data masking. Then, improper disposal of broken parts. Attendant dumped parts outdoor, posing risks. Student tampered with dangerous remains. How should we mitigate this? We need to securely store damaged equipment. We need also to sort and label some of these gadgets. Lack of ICT safety policy and enforcement could have caused the break-in because there was no lab rules or protocols on disposal or storage or access. Even students tampering with parts out of curiosity. So this kind of lack of curiosity could have caused the break-in. Then also, to mitigate this, we need to develop and display ICT lab usage rules. We can sensitize both staff and learners on digital safety. We can also integrate ICT safety in school and policy documents. So these are also mitigation measures to prevent a break-in in the near future. Physical security was weak. We mitigated it by putting strong padlocks. Lack of surveillance, put CCTV cameras. Neglected maintenance, we need to clean or use UPSs and all that. So let's now look at part B. Part B, providing the maintenance measure. we need to first look at the consequences of poor e-waste disposal. So let's look at the consequence. We are looking at dumping old computers around the school. You find that toxic substances like lead, mercury, and cadmium, they can leak into the soil. This one damages plant life and nearby gardens. It poses health risks to learners playing near these areas. So this is the consequence. Burning damaged electronics. These ones, they release poisonous gases from plastic and sachets. It causes respiratory diseases like asthma. It contributes to air pollution and climate harm. These are the consequences of e-waste. Improper disposal. Disposing of e-waste near water sources, chemicals from batteries, they can go into the wells and lakes and rivers. This one harms aquatic life and contaminates drinking water. These are consequences. Storing unusable equipment in congested places. Here, it overcrowds storage rooms, lab, and offices. It makes it hard to manage new ICT tools or upgrades. It can also even attract pests and promotes unhygienic environment. All these are consequences of uncontrolled e-waste. General environmental neglect. Improper disposal leads to long-term soil and air degradation. It also contributes to reduced agricultural productivity and climate damage. So these are the consequences of e-waste. Let's now have a proper e-waste management method. We are going to have a strategy, we explain it well, and we also bring the stakeholders who are involved. One, we can think of reuse or repair. So under reuse and repair, you are trying to fix usable parts like RAM or screens to reduce e-waste. This one, it is low-cost way to restore classroom devices instead of spending time all the time. So this one is a mitigation measure, is a management measure, is a strategy to reduce or to contain e-waste, repair, or reuse. The stakeholders, we have schools who can identify reusable parts, ICT clubs as stakeholders, they can do repairs, manufacturers as stakeholders, they can supply spare parts, Ministry of ICT as a stakeholder can promote school level repairs. Refurbishing as one of the strategy. Here, you can upgrade non-functional devices like new power supplies. This one, it creates usable PCs from e-waste. So as a strategy here, we have stakeholders like importers. Importers, they support refurbishing. Technicians, they can install new parts. Transporters can deliver the devices. Schools can approve refurbishment. Donations to the training institutions. This one, it provides non-functional pieces for technical training. As a strategy, it supports hands-on ICT skill building. Schools as stakeholders, they sort and donate. The training centers or institutions can use them for education. Transporters will deliver these ICT gadgets. The Ministry of Education will encourage schools to partner with those technical training centers. Recycling as a strategy. This one, it is to reclaim metals or plastics from unusable parts. As a strategy, it saves the environment because you are recycling. Stakeholders like NEMA, they can license recyclers. Recyclers like Simba Telecom, they can extract materials. Stakeholders like schools can deliver sorted items. Local government, like maybe KCCA, can supervise the programs. Land refills as a strategy. Here we involve use of non-toxic waste like old plastic covers. This one, it avoids illegal dumping. So as a strategy, we have stakeholders. NEMA can identify safe sites for land refilling. E-waste collectors, these ones, they are supposed to transport waste. Schools can sort and do inventory of the waste. Then, incineration as a strategy. Here we need to ban contaminated or biohazard ICT waste. This one, it must be controlled to avoid toxic emissions. As a strategy, we have stakeholders like the Ministry of Health or NEMA. These ones are supposed to supervise the incineration process. Licensed farms, these ones, they are supposed to ban waste. Schools, they can refer the items. Then acid bath. With acid bath as a strategy here, we use chemicals to extract gold, copper from boards. But this must be done by certified handlers only. As a strategy, we need licensed recyclers who will use safe facilities. NEMA can enforce chemical handling rules. Schools should never conduct this themselves, so they need to hire certified recyclers. Sorting and storage of the e-waste. As a strategy here, we classify these which are usable, those that are recyclable, and those that are hazardous, because this will help in clean and safe handling of e-waste. Who are involved? ICT staff, these can do the sorting. Schools can secure storage. UCC, this one can inspect compliance. Sell for cash, we can sell the scrap. We sell damaged shells, cables, or registered scrap buyers. We give them our scrap, they give us cash. This one can raise funds for new ICT tools as a management strategy. The school admin can approve and record. Scrap dealers as stakeholders can buy and recycle. Local governments like KCCA can license vendors who can buy the scrap and give us cash. Refuse as a strategy low quality donations. Say no to outdated or failing machines. This prevents build-up of future e-waste. As a strategy, we can involve stakeholders like procurement teams who are going to evaluate the offer. UCC can set import quality guidelines. Sensitization campaigns as a strategy. Here, we are to teach staff or students about ICT safety and e-waste management. This one, it reduces mishandling and encourages safety. Teachers as stakeholders can lead the lessons. Ministry of ICT or UCC can supply the materials for training. ICT clubs as stakeholders can create posters and maybe role plays. Equipment audit and inventory as a management strategy. It keeps track of the item condition and location of all the devices. It aids area planning for replacement or disposal. That's why you need to do equipment audit and inventory. ICT coordinators can maintain the logs, the inventory. Auditors themselves can review the records. Heads of schools as stakeholders can approve decisions. And then, lastly, research and policy setting as a strategy here. We need to innovate safer disposal methods and school policies, because this encourages sustainability as a management strategy for e-waste. Stakeholders like UCC or NITA Uganda can draft standards. universities can do research and disposal trends. ICT associates or associations can advocate best practices as stakeholders here. So we have identified the management strategy, how to mitigate, how to manage e-waste, the stakeholders and their roles as a must. Then we give a conclusion. The school must treat this incident, the one of the break-in, as a turning point for improving its ICT management through better physical security, secure data disposal, and sustainable e-waste strategies. The administration can prevent future breaches, protect learners, and comply with national standards. With the support of national stakeholders, these measures will promote responsible digital stewardship in the school. So this is our conclusion, CLN, and it will also take 1 score. So we have explained the causes, the consequences, and the mitigation measures here. So explaining the cause and the mitigation here. So 4 of them, you get 6 scores. Then, providing the mitigation measure, you must have 4 consequences, 4 measures, 4 stakeholders, and their roles. So minimum of 4, minimum of 4, minimum of 4, you get 6. Format of the presentation: introduction, conclusion, arrangement of the work. 4 scores in total. So we have 16 for item 3, also 16 for item 2. You choose to do either item 2 or 3. All of them will carry 16 marks in this set. Let's now go to section B, part 1, where you are supposed to answer only one item. Let's look at item 4. Kevin, a senior 4 student, saw a bursary advert on the website of an NGO that supports needy learners. The advert explains that eligible applicants must be continuing students who demonstrate good academic performance and genuine financial need. His application requires a recent report card and a recommendation letter from the head teacher. He is also expected to download a form from the NGO's website, fill it digitally, and email everything to bursaries@hopeuganda.org before the deadline. Kevin has never done such an application before. He is unsure about how to access the form, prepare the required documents, or complete the submission. He has approached you for help. Task: write a step-by-step guide that Kevin can follow to complete and submit the bursary application online successfully. So here, we want to see how best do we write a step-by-step guide. What do we consider? So, before that, I'm still your host, KAKURU BENARD. We are still looking at all these items and how best a candidate should present them. So, we are ready to dive into item 4 and look at how to present those step-by-step guide. You must include a step and the tools. The tools are both software, hardware, software features, or buttons are all included. So remember to grab a copy of the ICT Mastery for Uganda's competence-based curriculum. It is a guide S1 to S4. It has theory and practical. This book, the latest edition, New Curriculum 2025, second edition, this book here, you will find there summarized notes from Senior 1 to Senior 4. Each topic has notes. Each topic has activities of integration and their summarized responses, evaluation grids. This book, I have included the UNEB marking guide of last year. So in this book, you will find the UNEB marking guide of last year for ICT paper 1. You also find that guide of ICT paper 1. What were we considering on every item? The expected responses. You identify a health, a cause, a mitigation. So find all this guide. It has about 14 pages in this very new book. The book has 5 standard paper 1 ICT sets. 5 sets, meaning that each set has 5 items. And all these items are well responded to. All these items have answers in them. This book also has all the 5 sets of paper 2 items and how to respond to them. Call my numbers 7756-107-62 and get a copy of ICT Mastery. The book costs 48,000 in some bookshops. If the book is not in the bookshop, please call these numbers and get the book. It is at 48,000. As you can see that the book has notes, Senior 1 to Senior 4. It has those activities of integration and their answers. It has those items and their responses. So the book is a bit big, about 287 pages. Get a copy and shine in 2025. So we can now continue and look at how best are we supposed to approach item 4 and 5. In here, we are addressing element of construct 3. Accesses, stores, and shares information using ICTs. What do we expect here? You must describe all the necessary procedures. That means that we shall put a P where there is a procedure, and then a T where you have mentioned a tool. So your procedure must have a tool in it. If you describe 5 and above procedures and tools, we shall give you 4. Then 3 if you have identified 1 to 4 procedures in your guide. Then from there, we have to consider the logical flow. If it is a perfect logical flow, we give you 4 scores. If it is partial, you get 3. And finally, conclusion, a recommendation, a judgment will take 3 scores. So here is the score grid. Under description of the tool, I mean description of the procedure, we must see a tool and a procedure there. Perfect logical flow, the conclusion, which will also have the arrangement of the work. Total 12. This cuts across to item 4 and 5. Let's now look at item 4. In order to be focused, you need to have an introduction. Introduction. Kevin is applying for a bursary for the first time. The process requires digital readiness, accessing forms online, preparing documents, managing files, and using email tool. This guide walks him through each step using common ICT tools that support learning and digital responsibility. So that is our introduction. Let's now look at the step-by-step guide. Okay. Step 1, connect to the internet. So this is a procedure. And what do we expect in the procedure? We expect some tools. Power on the computer in the procedure. Use a router, a MiFi, or school's Wi-Fi settings to get online. So MiFi is also a tool under the procedure. Next procedure, visit the NGO website. As a procedure, what are you going to do? Open and use a web browser like Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox. These are tools. Type the NGO's address in the web browser's address bar. Navigate using the menu links, search bars, or the site map to locate the bursary advert. Use the mouse or touchpad to click through the pages. So we have a procedure and we also have the tool. Next procedure, download the form. What are we going to do? Click the download button or link next to the bursary form. Use File Explorer to select or create a folder named Kevin Bursary. Save the form in .docs or PDF format. Next, procedure. Open and read the form carefully. Open the file using a word processor like Microsoft Word or Google Docs. Scroll through the document using the scroll bar or the mouse wheel. Read the instructions and know what to fill. So those are procedures and tools. Next, gather supporting documents. Here what you are going to do, you are going to request a recent report card from the head teacher. Ask the head teacher to write a recommendation letter. So here, you are going to use a smartphone scanning app like CAM scanner or Adobe Scan, or use a scanner or printer to digitize the document. You have to save them as PDF into the Kevin folder bursary. Next, fill the form digitally. Reopen the form in your word processor. Fill the details using the keyboard. Type the full names, school information. Use Ctrl S to save or the save icon regularly. Don't change the structure or remove questions from the form. That is a tip. Kevin, review the application carefully. Recheck for typos or incomplete fields. Open each scanned PDF using Adobe Reader to confirm clarity. A tip, ensure all files are correct and saved in one folder because we are looking at file and folder management. Next, rename and organize all files. Use File Explorer to rename files clearly, e.g. Kevin Bursary form.doc, Kevin report card.pdf, Kevin recommendation.pdf. Keep all documents in one folder named Kevin Bursary. Tip: backup on USB flash, external hard disk, or Google Drive. What if something happens? So backup, that is a tool. 9. Compose the email. Open your email account, that is a tool using Outlook, Gmail, or Yahoo. Click Compose to start. In the to field, type bursaries@hopeuganda.org. Subject: bursary application, then put your name Kevin. Body, politely introduce yourself and mention the attached documents. Number, next, the step next, attach the documents. Here, click the attach file icon. Browse through the file explorer to the Kevin bursary folder. Select all the 3 documents and attach them. Double check all files are attached before sending. Next, send the email and save confirmation. Click send. Go to the sent items folder to verify that the email was sent. You can even take a screenshot of the sent email or save the email as PDF proof using the print PDF feature and log out successfully. So, conclusion. Kevin can now confidently submit his bursary application by using basic ICT tools such as a computer, word processor, email, scanning app, and file management system. This process not only helps him apply for financial aid, but also builds digital essential skills for school and lifelong success. So this is our conclusion. So having concluded, let's now score. We have said for you to get good scores, maximum at least 5, you must tell us, your procedure must have a tool in it. Those procedures needed to connect the internet, locate, download, and submit the form via email. So you get your 5 scores here. So at least we are supposed to see those procedures, the necessary procedures at least should be 6 and above. 6 and more. You qualify for your 5 scores. Then logical flow is everything flowing logically. Step 1 to the last step. Yes. Once the logical flow is clear, 4 scores. So far that is 9. Then we need the conclusion. The conclusion here, we need a judgment, a recommendation either at the start or at the end in line with the scenario. So here we have given a conclusion, but also we even have our introduction, which was clear on what we are going to do. So this intro, our conclusion, and arrangement of our work will give us our 3 scores. And that will make it 12. So that is how we were supposed to respond to item 4. Let's now switch to item 5. Item 5, a women's circle in your district has received a notice from the district commercial office asking them to submit an updated list of their registered numbers. The list must include each member's number, name, phone number, amount saved, and any outstanding loan balance. The notice also states that the circle must download a standard form from the district development website, fill in the member details accurately, and then submit the completed form through the same website before the deadline. The circle chairperson has never done such a task online and does not know how to proceed. She has approached you for guidance. Task: write a step-by-step guide that the circle chairperson can follow to complete and submit the member data form through the district development website successfully. So it is from here that item 4 and item 5, they are using the same weighted scores, because we need to see a candidate describing all the necessary procedures, which start from connecting the internet, locating the form, downloading it, filling it, and submitting it. So all procedures must have a tool in them. Then we shall look at the perfect logical flow, or imperfect or partial, and then a conclusion that has a judgment or a recommendation at the end or at the start. So now, those who are in A level, there is mastering subsidiary ICT for A level. You need to grab a copy of the learner's book. This book has well detailed competence-based theory and practical approach notes as per the syllabus book of 2025 NCDC. So the book is structured according to the syllabus book. It has both theory and practical. It covers senior 5 content, all the 6 topics in senior 5. The learner's book is here. Get copies and make CBC lessons flow very well. Mastering subsidiary ICT for A level, learners book 5. The aligned A level curriculum book by KAKURU BENARD. That is the book. Grab a copy and shine. Grab learner's book and shine. Teacher's guide is also available for this very book. This is for learners and this is for teachers. All the activities in the learner's book are well responded to in here. This book has schemes of work, lesson plans, lesson assessment tools. All the activities of integrations are well answered in this very book. It has a teacher facilitation guide, in other words. Mastering subsidiary ICT for A level, teacher's guidebook, a competence-based theory and practical approach by KAKURU BENARD. So grab a copy of the teacher's guide book, the aligned A level curriculum. This is my number, 7756-107-62. Contact me and see how to get these books. Now, let's look at the expected responses for item 5. Introduction. The circle chairperson must submit member data through an online system. A task involving downloading, editing, organizing, and uploading digital files. This step-by-step guide will help her complete the task confidently using basic ICT tools. This is our intro. And here is a step-by-step guide to help the circle member submit data online. Step 1, connect to the internet. As a procedure here, turn on the computer or laptop. This is a tool. Connect to the internet using a router or the Wi-Fi settings so that you can connect to the internet. That's the procedure and the tool. Open a web browser like Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Step 2, visit the district development website. In the browser address bar, type the official URL, e.g. www.districtdevelopment.go.ug. Navigate through the site using the main menu, or even the search icon, or the relevant announcement links. Step 3, download the standard member form. Click Download button next to the form. When prompted, click Save As and use File Explorer to create a new folder called Circle Reports 2025. Save the file inside that folder as member form June 2025. Open and read the form carefully. Open the folder and double-click the form. Use Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, or LibreOffice to open it. Carefully read instructions in the header, row, or first page before typing anything. Gather member information. Collect member details from manual registers, previous sheets, or secretary notebooks. Prepare accurate records, name, phone numbers, savings, and loans. If needed, you can even take photos of paper records using a smartphone camera for reference. Fill the form accurately. Step number 6. Click into each form cell using the mouse or arrow keys. Use the keyboard to type each member's information clearly. Avoid leaving any blank, useless instructed. You can press Ctrl S or the save icon regularly to avoid losing the progress. Review and clean the form carefully. Scroll down to check every entry, names, figures, formatting, etc. Delete any empty or duplicate rows. If totals are included, use Excel AutoSum to verify balances. Ensure the document is neat, readable, without red underlines. Next, rename and organize the file properly. Open File Explorer and locate the folder Circle Reports 2025. Rename the document to Final Member List June 2025. Create a backup by using a USB or Google Drive, Dropbox, or OneDrive. Then from there, return to the website and log in. Go back to the district website, log in, or create an account option if required. Keep your login credentials safe or write them in a notebook. Upload the form. Find and click the Upload File or Submit Form button on the portal. Use the file browser to navigate the Circle Reports. Select Final Member List and confirm upload. Lastly, confirm submission and save the proof. Wait for successfully submitted message or email confirmation. You can take a screenshot using the snipping tool or the print screen feature on the keyboard. Save this screenshot in the same folder for proof and reference. Conclusion. With careful steps and the use of basic tools like computer browser, spreadsheet editor, and file manager, the Circle chairperson can confidently manage and submit the member list online. Proper file organization, accuracy, and regular saving will ensure a successful and stress-free submission. So this is our conclusion. So let's go to our score grid. The tool, at least we needed 5 tools and a minimum of 5 procedures to qualify for 6 scores. Logical flow takes 4. And then we are looking at the conclusion. The conclusion, which also includes the arrangement of our work. So the conclusion and arrangement of our work here, we are looking at, here actually there was supposed to be, yes, minimum 5, minimum 6, 6, to qualify for 5 scores. Then here we have 3. Here, total 12. So, arrangement of the work, introduction and the conclusion. So the conclusion, 3 scores, 4 for logical flow, which is perfect, and then 5 scores for the steps were given. So this means that we are done scoring our items. So when you look at item 1, item 1 was taking 14 scores. Item 2, 3, item 1, 14. Item 2 and 3, 16. Then item 4 and 5, 12. So that means that you get your 14 plus 16, 30. So plus 12, that's about 42. So that means that if the candidate has scored, let's say 40 out of 42 times 50. So the score is there for paper 1 out of 50. So meaning that these items don't have standard scores, but it depends on what you are assessing, but at least minimum 6 procedures, minimum 6 tools, minimum we are looking at 6 management procedures. So when we get 40 divided by 42 times 50, that means that this candidate has gotten 48 out of 50. That is for paper 1. So as we wind up, please, these are my contacts in case you want me to take your learners through this facilitation. Remember, this is second term. We need to trim our learners very well, not waiting for third term in the last minute to invite facilitators to talk to your learners. This is the time. Second term is very critical. Learners will embrace the changes and apply them before the finals. So, the same author of Elite ICT, get the copies from Senior 1 to Senior 4. Copies of these books are available. ICT Elite with my fellow co-authors. These books are available. Schools make orders. When it comes to paper 2, item 2 always requires an offline document or an online platform, depending on that year's scenario and the task. If it requires an online platform, these are very good resourceful books that you can use to design an online platform using Expression Web. It is a detailed step-by-step guide to designing websites using Expression Web. There is also that book, A Practical Approach on Designing Websites Using WordPress, a step-by-step guide to creating your own website, the easy way out. If you design websites with WordPress, you are even able to host them and submit your projects. So, WordPress is better than Expression Web. WordPress is relevant to the world of work. So, I advise you to start using WordPress. Check my YouTube channel for over 8 video lessons on using WordPress to design websites, both offline and online. A reminder, grab a copy of ICT Mastery for Uganda's competence-based curriculum. At a classroom level, you can make groups and request learners. At least a group of 6 learners can get a copy. A group of 4 learners can get a copy. Or if the school can at least support and buy as many copies as possible. This book is very good. It is a very good handbook for every learner. be it in Senior 1, Senior 2, Senior 3, Senior 4. It is a very good book since it has summarized notes, both theory and practical. The book has activities of integrations and their responses. It has standard set items with their solutions. The UNEB marking guide of last year has been also included there so that you can see what was needed in scoring them and all that. Practical items are also there and how to approach them step by step. Grab a copy of A-Level ICT book, both learners and teacher's guide. What is coming up next? So, something, cooking. Up next, ICT Teachers Association of Uganda, ITAU, together against computer illiteracy. We are coming to Western Uganda. Don't miss this ICT Teachers Capacity Building Workshop. We shall take you through all these, whatever we have talked about today, the requirements for item 1, requirements for item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5, how to score these items, and more to that. The workshop will be at Intare School. The lion still lowers, so let's be there on 6th July from 8 a.m. sharp to 4:30 p.m. We shall have certificates for those who have attended and participated in the workshop. The fee is for 50,000. Come and be there. ITAU, together against computer illiteracy. I will be there to serve you. So, as we approach third term also, Senior 6 learners book will be out for the competence-based curriculum. Senior 6 learners book, the aligned A-level curriculum. Even the teacher's guide will be out as well. So, the teacher's guide will be out. So, this is coming soon. If you have grabbed copies of Senior 5, as soon as learners land in S6, the books will be out. So, don't miss. These books will be available. You have seen my contacts. Keep following me on my YouTube channel for all the latest videos and updates. Here is my number. Contact me anytime, WhatsApp me, and we see how to go about it. God bless.